Objection. Gentleman from California is recognized.
Just a show of hands for anyone in the room who hung out with a felon today. Hey guys, probably want to get your hands up if you were hanging out with convicted felon Donald Trump. I don't think anyone on our side did. But that's why we're here. Ambassador Eisen, what city did Donald Trump commit his crimes in?
In New York City, Mr.
Where were
Swalwell.
Where were the jurors drawn from for Donald Trump's trial?
From Manhattan.
Did defendant Trump have a say in picking his jury?
I was there for it. There was a vigorous voir dire. His defense counsel were extremely active, and I thought effective.
And after that jury of his peers, his neighbors, deliberated, they had to make 34 decisions. 12 jurors, 34 decisions. What did they say?
They decided 34 times that Donald Trump falsified documents to cover up his 2016 criminal election interference scheme.
408 straight times they said the word guilty. Now let's transfer or fast forward to another trial that took place recently. The president's son, Hunter Biden, he tried to plead, was not able to do that. He was found guilty, and actually I heard your side in Fox News celebrating the verdict, celebrating the idea that a jury of his peers found him guilty. So again, when it hurts their guy, it's a rigged jury. When it hurts the president's son, we celebrate the jury. I want to talk a little bit about judicial bias, because they've suggested that there's a bias that occurred in this case. Ambassador Eisen, in Donald Trump's other case, where he's alleged to have stolen national security secrets, who appointed the judge to the bench in the Southern Florida federal case?
Unlike the special counsel in the Hunter Biden prosecution, who is a Trump holdover, David Weiss, that was a last-minute, referring back to our history, midnight appointment, you can call it, by Donald Trump of Judge Eileen Cannon.
Are you kidding me? Donald Trump is complaining about bias in his case, and he's on trial for stealing national security documents with a judge that he appointed? That's interesting. I didn't hear any of you all talking about that. Well, let's talk about the Supreme Court, who's deciding whether he has absolute immunity and can send the Navy SEALs to kill any of his opponents, as he alleges in his arguments that he can do. One judge is flying an insurrection flag in solidarity with the insurrection on January 6th that tried to overturn Donald Trump's loss in the 2020 election. Another judge's wife was at the president's speech on January 6th, right before the insurrection occurred. But Ambassador Eisen, I want to talk about, now that he's a convicted felon, declared 408 times guilty by his neighbors, are convicted felons allowed to hold a security clearance?
No.
Are convicted felons allowed to serve in the military?
No.
Are convicted felons allowed to visit most countries?
There's a long list of countries they cannot visit.
And typically, the terms of probation for a convicted felon, do they allow you to hang out with other felons?
That's prohibited. There are other prohibitions, such as gun ownership.
That's probably going to be a problem if your friends are criminals like Paul Manafort, who was Donald Trump's former campaign manager, Vice Chairman of the campaign, Rick Gates, aide to the campaign and convicted felon Roger Stone, former White House aide, also convicted, Peter Navarro, Steve Bannon, also a convict, on his way to jail soon, former National Security Advisor, also a convict, Michael Flynn, and his accountant, Alan Weisselberg, currently in custody right now. But this is the person who you all chose to hang out with this morning, delaying the original start time of our hearing, because rather than getting work done for people who need us to work, you chose a felon over helping families. We're going to flip that, and we're going to choose families over felons, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields back.
Mr.